Hi, Fraser Christian, Coastal Survival. Hope you enjoy the videos. Please like and share them so as many people get to see the information as possible. Most of the skills that we cover on the videos we teach in real time on our courses at the Coastal Survival School. The company is called Coastal Survival and it's www.coastalsurvival.com. So please stay tuned and like and share the videos and enjoy them. Feel free to comment. Cheers. This video is going to focus on how to light a fire, small fire, with our emergency shelter, which is our tree, because we've got nothing, we're presuming, besides what's in our pockets. And the minimum I should have in my pockets whenever I go out: a lighter, a head torch, and a knife. Okay, I don't always carry a fixed blade knife with me. Most of the time it's a little non-locking under 3 inches, tiny little open L knife. Okay, and in there I've got another lighter as well. 2 is one, 1 is none. But basically what I've always got with me is a little tiny knife, head torch, and a lighter. Okay, so first of all, before we light our fire, I'll just talk really quickly about the lighters. Okay, so before we're talking about fire still and natural tinder and other stuff, lighters, they light flames, okay, rather than turning embers into flames, instant fire. This one is a clipper, this is your flint lighter, and round that is inner tube, bicycle inner tube, cut into really thin strips, wrapped over itself so I can easily keep pulling it out. And if you don't know, that snaps off as long as you keep it fine. But this will light, okay, and burn in virtually 100% humidity. Even one of the friends of mine who's a soldier said they do it in the jungle training when it's constant humidity. Okay, so tinder and a lighter, and then that's your electronic type of lighter, and on there some insulation tape wrapped around about 10 times. You can use that for multiple uses, and a bit of cord, multi-strand cord, can be used again for lots of things, but something I can have on my stop it falling, especially if it's dark and all you've got is your lighters. You haven't got your head torch, for example, and you've only got a lighter. If you drop your lighter in the dark, it's impossible really to find it. So try and keep stuff tied to yourself anyway. We can have a cord on that tied to our belt or whatever, so we don't worry about losing it. Okay, tinder, it'd be great if we had some tinder, but if not, we've only got a lighter. Okay, and we'll start with the basics. My little crow's nest, which I showed you on the previous video, is full of as much dead wood as I can find. Okay, and then while I've been doing that, consequently I've managed to get, because the sun was out earlier and the wind was there, even though it's been raining for months and months, some dead stalks of some cow parsley and some nettles. Okay, and when they break, when wood breaks, we'll talk about how you know if wood's really dead. First of all, it doesn't want to be soaking wet. Okay, but that snaps, makes a clean snap, and you notice that it's unattached. So I know that's been dead for probably 1 or 2 years, as opposed to something like this possibly. Bark looks quite fresh. No, that's snapped clean as well. That's good. Won't be able to find one now that's just dead. This one here still looks like it's a little bit, it should be dead but not as dead. And when I snap it, you see how it ambles on the bark. Okay, and that means it's not as dead as the stuff that snapped cleanly. Anyway, okay, so when we're lighting a fire, 2 things we want to do is not turn moisture into steam, which puts the fire out. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to snap up some larger stuff and make a little trivet on the floor to elevate the fire, so the first heat doesn't go straight into the ground, cause the moisture to turn into steam and put the fire out. The wind, as you can probably hear on the camera now, is just starting to turn. It's starting to get quite fresh, probably blowing now 20 miles an hour. And with the temperature, which was already about 1 or 2, the wind chill, is what we're talking about, keeping out the wind. That wind chill now, with my mittens off, that temperature, that's feeling more like that's taking that down to below 0. So while I'm doing this, I can keep out the wind against the tree, and I've got all of my firewood to hand. I'm going to light my fire just over an arm's reach, and whether you've got a shelter or you're just against something like this, what you don't want to do is stumble and fall out into the fire, but you don't want it so far out from your shelter that you have to possibly get out or away from your warmth source or your wind shelter to tend that fire. So about an arm's length, which is about a metre, is perfect. And especially if I want some heat for it, I want to be able to get down by it, okay? So, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get what I call my wands. I'm going to want 1s, 2s and 3s. So the first bundle I'm going to have, a whole fistful, is the size of a match, as thin as a match. And I want another bundle of my 2s, which is twice as thick as a match, and then another bundle of 3s, which is 3 times as far as a match. Once I've got that, besides my initial tinder sauce, which is probably going to be breaking down this cow parsley, or as long as it's dry, get the stuff from underneath it's dry, breaking that right down, okay, into almost dust. And if I can find any really dry leaves in the nooks of trees as well, as long as they're dry and they're dead, I'm going to powder that down, and that'll go on top of my dry trivet, and that'll be a little bit of the base for the flame to start going down, to start some gas, to start cooking up. So it's 1s, 2s and 3s. So I'm going to do my 1s, 2s and 3s now, and then we'll come in, have a look at that, and then we'll light the fire. Right, I've got my 1s, my 2s and my 3s that we just spoken about, and I've laid them all out there. There's my 1s and most of those, so I don't have to be breaking stuff down and using my knife. I'm going to use like bits of grass and straw and little tiny bits of dead nettle, cow parsley, any of those real sort of stalky bits I call them, okay, and they're really dry. And if it was a little bit damper now, they'd be going in my pocket. And if it was raining now and it was wet, and I didn't think I'd be able to get the fire going with completely wet tinder and wood, this would be going into my pocket to keep drying, okay? So I've got my 1s, my 2s and my 3s. I've laid as much of the dry stuff as I can, some larger stuff this way, and then a few of the smaller sticks that way. And I've created myself, and what I do is I work from my 1s, 2s and 3s onto this base, and I say I've got like a cross hatch there, so I've got a little bit of air going underneath it. It's definitely not in contact with the ground straight away, and then say some thicker stuff at the bottom to stop the mud and the moisture going up, as we said. And really, when that flame's going, I should be able to go in, and I've worked it out, it needs to be about 3 seconds. Every stage of fire wants to be able to go from the flame to your initial bit of tinder, 3 seconds, which is about as long as a match possibly. I'll give you an example of that, and I'll start off with the electronic lighter, as opposed to the flint light, which you have to strike with a thumb or a finger. This, if you've got injured digits, is really good because you can do it with like the side of your hand, or even sometimes, possibly, not with my elbow, possibly my knee. No. Anyway, you can do it with it, can do it with that, or I could probably do it with that if that was all I could hold on to and had freezing cold hands. Okay, that's just another advantage, and it can be damp and shaken and be dried. So the first ones, before I start to build the fire, let's just have a check that they'll go. This is what I'm talking about. It should go up for about 3 seconds, so count. 1, 2, there you go, 2 seconds, and that went a little bit. Keep that out the wind, that should go. And what we don't want loads of gaps in between the wood, but what we do want, a couple of things fires need is they need a heat source, but they need oxygen. So how I teach that, I teach 100% oxygen. So these, my fingers are sticks. I basically want to remove every other one. So there's a gap, the same width as the sticks in between it. And I call that 100% oxygen. There's as much space for oxygen or air as there is firewood, okay? So first of all, what we'll do, I've got some elder. I was saying elder's amazing after it's been raining. It's kind of quite waterproof, the bark, even when it's dead, and then that pith inside goes up really well. Okay, so I'm just going to make like a triangle and put one that way, one that way, and one that way. And you'll find if you're on uneven ground, stuff always rolls, but if we do it like this, it kind of stays together. And that's just going to give me enough space to be able to put my lighter in, or my ignition source, okay? So we'll take a few of the ones, okay, and we'll just put them over there. Snap them down a little bit, and then what we'll do is we'll lay a few this way and a few that way, okay? Trying to create that space for the oxygen. It's a bit like Jenga, you just have to put it down, but just check all the time you can get your lighter underneath there. I've kept these other 1s and 2s off the floor. If it gets any damper, they'll be going in my pocket, okay? Bit of a strong breeze coming from that way, so I'm going to probably have to put my back over to this side in a minute. take your time, just remembering maintaining that 100% oxygen all the time. And do a few that way and a few this way, just basically trying to support it. Then we get some longer ones. If you start to find it's falling apart, get some longer ones. Just use those as scaffolding. And then what we are going to do, as soon as we get this going, any of the wetter wood, and that should be enough now to get our ignition system in there. Any of the wetter wood in a minute, we're going to start piling up, so we're not wasting energy from the fire. Well, we can use that wetter wood as a reflector, and I'll show you when we extend this fire how we're basically going to try and support as much wood on a 45-degree angle, keeping it dry, so we can have a little bit, so it's drying the wood out but also keeping the rain off of the fire. Okay, but at the moment all we want to do when being out here all morning is cook some sausages, so me and Ben can have some sausages. Okay, so we've got all of our stuff there prepped, so we've done all our mise en place, just have a little tidy up, and we're ready to go. And what I'm going to do now is keep these extremely dry elder twigs in my hand, so I'm not having to gather them up as soon as I light that fire. I'm looking for basically just any other ones and twos now, any other dry bits as well. Tiny little bit of stalk in there. Right, let's give it a go. Wind's just stopped. If I say the wind's blowing too much, I'll need to get around this side, but we should be okay. 1, 2, 3. Do is get out of the wind a little bit. As soon as you've got a flame, you've got a claim, okay? So don't start putting wood on. You keep it really small at the moment until you've got a flame, okay? I always got this really stupid saying, I say, where there's a flame, there's a claim, okay? So keep putting on those. The wind's just moved favourably now. We've got flames there now. So don't go too heavy, but they can go on a little bit. Gonna have to move a little bit. And this is where we've got all of our stuff already in a pile, keeping dry by the tree. We've got flames there now, so we can put on more wood now. And you'll find, if you haven't got all this wood ready to go, your fire just burns itself out and you can't get prepared. But there you go, that was just tinder that I've just gathered after the wettest year on record. I don't want to burn it, you see it's just starting to burn out in the middle a little bit, so just put some more little ones in there, a couple of bits of stalk in there. Oh dear, done the classic and smashed it all over. A little bit more stalk in there. Just keep putting on, don't go too heavy straight away. Just keep your ones, your twos and your threes until we've got a little bit more flame going on in there. There's a flame, there's a claim. Go anywhere now, we've just got all of our wood there, and in a minute when this is going, we're going to replenish that wood. Just keep it nice and small. You see it start to burn out in the middle. Just put some more stalky bits in there. They seem to get smashed up all over the place, so they'd probably have been better off in my pocket. And so just see if it's starting to burn out. Really cold. Keep working with that flame. It's burnt itself out a little bit there. The wind's just blown it out on that corner there. But she's going to light anyway. So, what I'm going to do now, once I've got enough on there to take my eyes off it, this is why you don't want to be walking off collecting wood once you've started lighting your fire. I've got plenty of it here, loads to choose from. I'm going to start with the deadest, driest stuff I possibly can. There's still loads of moisture in that though, it's still wanting to burn itself out. But before I blow on it, there's enough wind there to keep that going. It's just started to lose a flame there, look. So we've got some more stalky bits. Put them in. Put a few more sticks on the top now. And hopefully just started to go out. So So what I'm not going to do is destroy the fire, because I've got some heat in there. No sticks have dried out a considerable amount. So get a few more little bits of wands from the pile there. I have to reuse my lighter. Again, it should be 3 seconds and it should go again. But that's how easy it is to go out when it's soaking wet. 1, 2, 3. And that was because there's just enough moisture in those sticks to create a bit of steam. And you can see that the stuff that's burning really well is the elder. The elder's catching. The ash in there, that's a lot of ash in there. The ash is refusing to burn. But the elder comes back, and I say, if you lose your fire, don't panic, because we've got all that heat source in there already. What we don't want to do is lose that. Right, I'm just going to go off and get a little bit of wood a minute. You can just watch that. And this dead standing elder now, it's nice and dry up there. You can hear how well that snaps. And we can just make them a little bit longer now, so they don't keep falling down. Okay, wigwam, what that's doing, it's a bit like a chimney. It's going to make the heat go up, okay? Starting to get a little bit of heat in there now. Once you can hear that sizzling, I don't know, the microphone probably won't pick that up. That's moisture coming out of the wood, okay? And they say it's only really that elder that is burning ferociously. The ash is going to take quite a lot of heat to get that going. So what I'm doing now is I'm just going all the way around, and eventually what I'm going to do is build the fire up this way. So I've got an open side this way for the warmth to radiate from me. Okay, but at the moment we're just going to cook some sausages in a second. As soon as we get a little bit of heat under there, this ash will take off. Get myself out the smoke. Really important if you can stay out the smoke. I mean, it's not going to kill you in 24 hours, but prolonged sitting by the fire, you really don't want to be in this smoke. It's going to cause you really bad chest breathing problems, chest infections. Okay, right, there we go. All we need to do is maintain that now. We can go off now, leave that for a little bit, and then we can put on some slightly larger stuff, but probably nothing thicker than our fan, okay? So, I'm going to switch the camera off now, and then I'm going to cook some sausages on there. Me and Ben are going to have some food, go back, edit the videos. Thanks for watching, stay tuned.